virtual Gilb Museum Summer Enrichment Program. And this week we're going to be talking about adventures in anthropology. So you might be wondering, what is anthropology? Anthropology is the study of people throughout history by looking at their art, language, religion, clothing, and customs. There are 4 different branches of anthropology which we will be studying this week, and they are physical anthropology, archaeology, linguistics, and cultural anthropology.
The first branch of anthropology that we are going to study is one called physical anthropology. Physical anthropologists like to study primates and very early humans. This is sometimes called primatology. Primatologists like to study fossils of primates like apes, lemurs, and monkeys to better understand human evolution. But while physical anthropologists study the fossils of early humans and apes, it is very important to remember that one of the fossils that they do not study is dinosaurs, because anthropologists don't study dinosaurs. In some colleges, like the college that I went to, which is Humboldt State University, you can do internships where you study primatology. In the Humboldt State University primatology internship, you can actually go to places like Costa Rica to live with primates and learn how they live and how they are similar and different to humans. Dr. Mary Glenn is a professor who studies primatology at Humboldt State University and teaches there as well. Another famous primatologist is Jane Goodall, pictured on the right, who studies chimpanzees.
So we are outside today, and today we're going to be doing the work of archaeologists. Archaeologists do something called excavation, which is the careful digging in soil or dirt to reveal what's hidden underneath. In your kit, you will have an excavation kit, and it gets a little dirty when you dig through it, so that's why I'm outside. I also have mine in a bowl. You're also going to need a popsicle stick. And so I'm going to dig, and I'm going to see if I can find what is hidden in my excavation kit. As you can see, I have found an arrowhead in my excavation kit. Now, what we're going to be doing is something called lab work. Archaeologists do lab work after they excavate items. So the first thing that you're going to look at is the color. So my arrowhead is reddish, it's a little brown. Also, you're going to look at the texture. The texture of my arrowhead is very bumpy and it's a little rough. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to measure it. So for this, you're going to need a ruler. And because my arrowhead is small, I'm going to use the centimeter measurement. So the first thing you're going to do is measure the length. And my arrowhead is 3 centimeters long. Now you're going to do the width, and you want to do it at the widest point of your arrowhead. And as you can see, mine is about 2 centimeters wide. And then you're going to do depth, so how chunky it is. So you're going to stand your arrowhead up like this. And if I look, my arrowhead is about 1/2 centimeter thick. So now you have just completed the lab work as an archaeologist.
Now we're going to talk about the next branch of anthropology, which is called linguistics. Linguistics is the study of languages, the way things are pronounced, and the evolution of language. And we're going to do that by making our own Tongva English dictionaries.
To make our Tongva English dictionary, we're going to take our notebooks and we're going to write on the first page, you want to write Tongva English Dictionary. And then the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to open up to the first double blank pages and we're going to go over our first word. Our first word is the Tongva word for bear. So on the left hand side, you're going to write the word bear, B-E-A-R in English. And then on the right hand side, you're going to write the word bear, but in the Tongva language. And in the Tongva language, they call bears hunad, H-U-N-A-A-R. So now to do your Tongva English dictionary, you're going to draw a picture of a bear on the English side, and on the side with the Tongva word, you're going to do the symbol for the California Native American rock art. And we are going to include a half sheet with this information in your kit, and as you can see, we actually have the symbol for bear right here. So let me draw my bears. And I'm not the best drawer. I'm just going to try my best. My bear looks a little bit like a teddy bear, but that's okay. And then the California Native American rock art symbol for a bear is kind of like a big circle with 4 small ovals in it. And I'll go over it with a marker just so that you can see it. And there we go.
The next word that we're going to write in our Tongva English dictionary is deer. Deer is spelled D-E-E-R. And then in the Tongva language, deer is shukat. S-H-U-K-A-A-T. Now all we're going to do is draw our deer. And again, apologies, I'm not the best drawer, but I'm just going to try my best. You gotta give your deer some antlers. And the California Native American rock art symbol for deer is kind of just like 4 ovals, and it's supposed to look like they're tracks. So now I'm going to trace over it with marker. There you have it. You have your word for deer. The next word that we're going to be doing is moon. And moon is spelled M-O-O-N. But in the Tongva language, it's mwar. M-W-A-A-R. And the California Native American rock symbol for moon is just a crescent. There you go. And on the English side, I'm just going to draw a big full moon. And the moon has a whole bunch of spots on it from craters that have hit it. And I'll go over it in my marker so that you can see it better. And there we go. Now you have the Tongva word for moon. The next and last word that we're going to be putting in our Tongva English dictionaries is sun. So in English, sun is S-U-N. But in the Tongva language, it's tamet. So T-A-A-M-E-T. The California Native American rock art symbol for sun is just a circle, and it has 8 rays of sunshine coming out of it. And then on the English side, I'm just going to draw a big sun with some big rays of light coming out. And I'll go over it with my marker so that you can see it better. And now you have your really fun Tongva English dictionary. What other words can you think of that you would like to know in English and in Tongva? The next branch of anthropology that we're going to explore is cultural anthropology. And to study our cultural anthropology, we're going to be looking at the Tongva. We're going to be looking at something called a key, K-I-I-Y, which is the name that they had for their houses. In their kits, you will have these 2 sheets of paper. One is this one with the picture of the key, and then this other one where we're actually going to make our own. And if you don't have them, we will provide a download on our website so that you can print them at home. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to color your key. And keys are made out of this reed called tule, which is mostly a green reed, but when it dries it becomes brown. And you're going to have some crayons in your kit as well. And I'm going to color mine brown. And just for some depth of color, I'm going to put a little bit of yellow. There you go, I've colored my key. The next thing you're going to use is scissors, and again, if you have trouble with scissors, make sure to ask a parent or guardian or an older sibling. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut along the black solid lines. You don't want to cut along the dotted lines. The pieces of your key, next thing that you want to do is actually fold along all of the dotted lines, and you want to fold them back. And then next, you'll have some tabs, the folded parts, that you're going to cover with glue. And in your kit, you would have gotten a glue stick, and you can use that to assemble your key. Assembling our key by gluing the tabs, and the first thing you're going to create is the base, and you're going to glue the door, and then you're going to have all of your tabs facing inwards. You're going to put the ceiling onto your key, and you're going to turn it over, and you're going to push all of the tabs in place to make sure that they're attached to your ceiling. And there you go, you have a Tongva key.
Once you have finished making your Tongva key, you can go to this worksheet that was included in your kit. It has some information about Tongva key as well as some questions for you to think about what life was like for the Tongva living in these keys. In continuing with exploring cultural anthropology, today what we're going to be doing is making deer decoys. Unlike other Native Americans, Tongva would not use bows and arrows to hunt. They would actually use something called an atlatl, or a spear thrower. To use an atlatl, the hunter would have to be very close to their target. And in order to get closer to their targets, Tongva hunters would usually wear deer decoys so that the deer would think that the hunter was another deer. So we're going to make our deer decoys or masks today out of paper plates. In your kit, you'll find a paper plate that has your deer mask already drawn on it. And if you don't have a kit, you can easily make this at home with a paper plate and a permanent marker. The first thing that we're going to do with our deer decoy is we're going to color it. And probably the most important color you'll need is brown. And now I'm giving my mule deer a nice big black nose. There we go. And then if you've ever seen a mule deer, they kind of have this dark brown or blackish crest on the top of their heads. And sometimes they have these markings on their face that look like they have kind of angry eyebrows. I'm gonna give mine some angry eyebrows. Lastly, let's just color in our deer's ears. So next what we're going to do is we're going to take our scissors and we're going to cut along the black lines. If you need help with scissors, always make sure to ask a parent, a guardian, or an older sibling. Now you're going to have these 3 parts that are left over from your paper plate, but you'll notice that 2 of them will have notches that were already made when you got your paper plate. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut these notches out, and these are actually going to be the antlers to our deer. Now we're going to attach our deer antlers to our deer. You could use glue, tape, or a stapler to help you for this part. To need is a hole puncher, and you're going to punch holes in the side of your deer decoy. There we go. There's the first one. Second. And you'll have a string in your kit so that you can make it into a mask and wear it. There you go. And to help me model my mask, I have my friend today, Jeremy Baramy. We're going to put this on here. And there we go, we made our deer decoys. Now that you have done the work of anthropologists, I would like for you to look into your own home culture. And the best way to do this is to look at your own family, ask them questions, and get to know them better. You can start doing this by making your own family tree, which is what we're going to be doing right now. For your family tree, you're going to need a big sheet of paper. And because it's a family tree, you're going to have to draw a tree. My tree is going to start with the trunk, and that's going to be my grandparents. And my grandparents had 3 children, and each of their 3 children had their own children. And so I'm going to draw the members of my family as individual branches on my tree. And I have all the names of my cousins in my tree. You also have to make sure that you include yourself. And I'm going to include the names of my grandparents' children. And of course, I said that my trunk is going to be my grandparents, so I wrote them down, and I'm going to include a heart because they loved each other so much. And because this is a tree, you can't leave it all bare, so I'm going to make sure to include everybody as a little leaf. And if you have any pets, you can include them. I consider my dog to be like my family, even though we're not blood related. And I'm going to include them as a doghouse. And my dog's name is Choco, so I'm going to include her there. Also, I made them float, my bad. And because this is a tree, we gotta make sure to give them the big bushy part of the tree, so I'm gonna do that with my lime green marker. And it's always important to remember where you come from and your family name. So I'm going to call my family tree the Alberto family because that is who we are. But of course, your family tree will look completely different from my family tree. So if you need help, always make sure to ask your parents, your grandparents, your aunts, or your uncles. And here is my amazing family tree. A good way to practice anthropology at home is to do an oral history interview. You can interview people that are further down on your family tree, so like your aunts, your uncles, your grandparents. And if you're really interested in doing an oral history interview, we'll have a printable list of good questions to ask on our museum website.
Make sure to join us next week where we explore the world of paleontology from bones to stones. And if you had fun this week, make sure to show us how much fun you had by emailing us your photos or tagging your social media posts with hashtag Gilb SCP2020. Thank you very much, and we hope to see you next time. Bye!